Hello again, welcome back to Everywoman, where we're talking about female suicide bombers. So what motivates women to take their lives in a single destructive act? The first Palestinian female suicide bomber was Wafa Idris, a young paramedic who was hailed as a hero when she blew herself up in Jerusalem 6 years ago. Now, Israeli sources say more and more Palestinian women are being recruited. Everywoman met one activist who says becoming a suicide bomber is her only choice.
Thousands were made homeless as a result of bombardments by the Israeli army in the last 4 years. Homes were destroyed. People went back to living in tents, just as they did in 1948.
Ode, or Mother of the Return, is the daughter of Palestinian refugees. She has witnessed the destruction of her city by the Israeli invasion forces in a series of attacks since 2001. Though she was once a believer in the negotiating process, she now believes that the Israeli commitment to peace is disingenuous.
We had hoped that there would be peace, but every time the Israelis make an agreement with us, they break it. They can't be trusted. Someone has to answer back to them. Every day they kill a Palestinian. There are so many orphans, so many widows. Their prisons are full with our prisoners. So clearly they are not interested in peace. The only thing left for us to do is to fight, even if one has to go so far as to blow oneself up to liberate the land.
I asked Ode if committing suicide was the only way to attain her goals.
Although we do get some military training, I know we have little chance of hurting the Israelis. There's something special about sacrificing your life up in battle. By blowing yourself up, you become one with the land. It's like building a bridge for the future generations, which will liberate Jerusalem.
Women's participation in the Palestinian armed struggle has a long history. Women like Dalal al-Mughrabi, a Palestinian commando leader who killed 36 Israelis before being gunned down herself, is thought of as a heroine. Unlike their Israeli counterparts, who are drafted into a powerful, modern and mechanized army, Palestinian women must volunteer to join the poorly armed Palestinian military groups. It's this imbalance of power that has led to an increasing discussion in Palestinian society about the suicide attacks and their effects. The debate goes on even among the children of Fatima Najjar, the grandmother who was killed just as she was about to blow herself up in an attack against Israeli soldiers.
We want the occupation to end, for the Israelis to truly leave and just leave us alone. If we had dignity, independence and freedom, I don't think anyone would ever contemplate suicide bombings.
Fuad Najjar is one of 8 children that have survived Fatima, and whilst he is careful to show respect for his late mother, he tries very hard to steer his children away from a similar fate.
I would think twice about sending my daughters into the battlefield. We want peace, but the occupation sometimes imposes certain actions on us, acts of revenge. My late mother took revenge for all the massacres, the killings of children, the destruction of homes, and for all the invasions.
The family presented a brave face to the world in wake of their mother's death, but in private, family members demonstrate more nuanced and less enthusiastic attitudes. Her son Ahmed remembers his mother fondly and says she did not encourage her children or grandchildren to become suicide bombers.
Our late mother used to tell our children, I want you to become doctors, engineers. I want you to follow your dreams. Our mother died so that the next generation could have a better life.
Her son categorically rejects the idea that his mother found any encouragement for her actions among the family.
If we knew her plans, we would have stopped her. She was holy to us.
Gazans do not believe they are ever safe from the long arm of Israel.
An invasion is expected at any time.
And with an invasion, more volunteers are expected to sign up to fight.
Well, still with us is Farhana Ali in our Washington, D.C. studio. And we're pleased to welcome Lama Hourani, a women's rights activist from Ramallah. Thank you both very much indeed, ladies. Lama, if I can start with you. Clearly, Palestinian women have faced some terrible things and have a terrible situation to put up with. But what drives them to take this ultimate step? Why do they think that blowing themselves up will make a difference?
Because they believe that they are protectors of their families and their society, and because they believe in the right for this people for freedom and from the occupation, from the Israeli occupation. And at the same time, they don't see any way out of this thing. They don't see any juncture from the Israeli authorities and occupation authorities that they are really going for peace, and they want really to go for real peace negotiations to establish the Palestinian state. They are desperate, they are helpless, and they think that they can give the ultimate sacrifice, which is giving their lives up for the cause, for the national cause, for the freedom of Palestine. When you are put in a corner as a person, especially as a woman, when you see your children or your neighbor's children, your husbands, your fathers, your brothers are either killed or injured, when you see that your land, the source of your economy in your family.
But Lama, what about the people left behind? What about the sons and fathers and husbands and children left behind? How do they view such an act? I know some families treat these women as heroes and martyrs, but is that the case in every situation?
Well, a woman or a man, when they do such an action, they believe that there is nothing to lose anymore. They live a desperate life, and their families is living a desperate life. So maybe in giving their life up, something might happen, something might shake, and they might hurt the Israelis, so they think about the suffering they are doing to the Palestinians. They have nothing to lose more. That's why they give their lives for this cause.
Okay, do you think that if the situation in Gaza gets worse, and as the current situation continues, that more women will see this as the only path to take?
Unfortunately, I think so, yes. Not only women, men, and children. Sometimes children think that they can commit suicide bombings. And this is a very, very disturbing thing for me personally, and for a lot of people like me. We are afraid that our children, if they are put under these conditions for years still, then they might come suicide bombers too, because they are seeing no way out. They are living under this humiliation, aggression, brutal actual aggression from the Israelis, with the international community silence, complete silence among what's happening. And at the same time, they are considering the resistance of the Palestinians as terrorist acts. So people have nothing to do but to blow themselves out. It doesn't mean that I agree with this one. It doesn't mean that I believe, even not from a humanitarian point of view only, but also politically, that these actions will lead to any solution in our cause. But I have to understand the roots that these people are coming from, so that I can mobilize people to be against it, and at the same time I can have the power to fight for real peace negotiations.
Okay, let me bring Farhana in. Farhana, Lama was saying there that women blowing themselves up will only increase in number. It might even encourage children to blow themselves up. Is there enough research done on why women take this step? Do we understand enough about why women become suicide bombers, and does it encourage other women to become suicide bombers?
Well, to your last point, it absolutely encourages other women. If you look at the example you used earlier of Wafa Idris, who detonated in January 2002, within 4 months there were 4 other Palestinian suicide bombers within that time frame. And there was a splendid interview taken by a woman who calls herself Osama, who leads the Al-Qaeda brigade for Osama bin Laden, done in by the Arab newspaper Al-Sharq Al-Awsat. And in that interview, she also said that thanks to the Palestinian and Chechen sisters, that she is also encouraged to commit such actions and to motivate other women. So absolutely, it is a very powerful recruitment tool.
OK, Farhana, we've talked about women engaged in violence. What about women's role as peacemakers? Are they included enough in settlement agreements, things like that?
You know, the real tragedy in all conflicts is that once the fighting ends and once conflict ends and the process of nation building begins, that women are often marginalized. And this is true of most conflicts. And so for sustainable peace, democracy and economic development to take place, women must be a part of that. So it's absolutely essential to include women in within the local and the federal government, to provide opportunities for women economically so that women are as part of the public sphere, so that they're socially active. But unfortunately, that trend is often reversed. So when conflict ends, women do not play an active role in nation building.
OK, I wish we could continue the discussion because it's been really interesting, but I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Farhana Ali in Washington and Lama Hourani in Ramallah, thank you both very much indeed for your views. And that's it. If you have any comments about today's programme, then do email us at everywoman@aljazeera.net. We love hearing from you. But for the moment, from all the team here, until next time, bye-bye.